up, you guys? It's Shekinah with Purpose Joy, and this is another episode of Postscript. And today, we'll be talking about financial literacy. I'm super excited to have these young men on the call with me today, and hopefully you can gain some tools to be able to equip you with everything necessary to take on your adult life and everything that happens with those financial responsibilities, and doing it in a way that's responsible and effective so you can really secure your future. And I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, and we can go ahead and get started. Whoever wants to go, or whoever wants to start.
I can go first. So I'm Gilberto Herrera. I have a financial services firm. I have a team of about 70 right now as of today. And our mission is to help you either make money or save money. You know, one of the ways we do that is by helping families get protected in case something happens to you right now and you die too soon. And we want to make sure that during those later years and you live long, you know, you don't run out of money. You know, I also have a branding and marketing firm, you know, that specializes in helping all of our clients reach their revenue goals by putting themselves in front of the right audience, which allows them to double and triple their price and work less.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And we're so happy to have you on this call.
Thank you for having me.
I'll go next. Brian Hatcher here. I have an undergraduate accounting degree from the University of Montevallo, and then a graduate accounting degree, a Master of Accounting in Data and Analytics from Ohio State. Went from there to work at where I currently work at KPMG, which is a large financial services firm as well. On the side, I also own a brand, Hatch Capital, where our goal is to educate and teach financial literacy to help both youth and young professionals ultimately achieve financial freedom.
Yeah, so definitely gotta get back to these two gentlemen. So my name is CHRITERIOUS from Montgomery, Alabama. I'm 26 years old, and I come from corporate America background, but I always been interested in learning about, you know, financial literacy, because what I noticed that, you know, being in school, we wasn't taught this. And, you know, when I got into this industry, I saw that it was more of an advocate, not for only myself, but for the youth, because that now that I have this program and platform in place, you know, I can basically, you know, give back to the youth and teach them the importance of finances, because, you know, this wasn't taught to our parents. So, you know, but, you know, definitely, you know, I'm actually in the industry of life insurance as well. And also, I do credit. So I do both ends of the bracket. So, you know, not only just one, I know I do the other way as well. So, you know, teach about money and also about financial literacy, how important it is. So that's fine.
Thank you. We appreciate having you as well. So how this is going to work is this. I have a couple questions for my students that they wanted to have answered. And so then hopefully from the answers you give them, they'll be able to take that information and apply it to their everyday life, and hopefully, you know, grow and come out a lot stronger and a lot wiser in the area of finance. So I'll just get started with my little list here. All right. So the first thing they asked about is what steps do you think are necessary to establish credit after high school?
My man with the credit repair business, I'm gonna let you jump that over.
Okay.
Well, honestly, it's best to start establishing credit as soon as possible. Even, you know, I think when you're young, your parents can kind of put you on their credit as a authorized user. So I think the age starts at, I think maybe 8. You can start putting, you know, your kids on as an authorized user. So the earliest possible, you know, the quicker, you know, your credit will build. Not even when you have to get to high school and just wait to build credit. If you have responsible parents, just tell them, you know, put you on as an authorized user to where you won't be using the credit limit. They'll be using it and paying it on the bill, but it'll later on affect, you know, your credit score once you get out here and want to purchase, you know, things of your own. So that's what I can kind of, you know, give them a tip on about, you know, having, you know, starting your credit early as possible before you even get to high school. So that's basically, you know, answer your question.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so another thing that I would say is they need to understand how credit works. Because as you know, money is that one thing that we start getting, and it does not come with an instruction manual.
Right.
You know, so, you know, so for those that aren't fortunate to have, you know, responsible parents, and I'm not gonna say they weren't responsible, a lot of us just don't know. You know, for those that don't have parents that can add them as authorized users early on, a couple things that you can do. First and foremost, before you can get credit, they want to know that you're gonna be able to pay it back. So you gotta have some money. You gotta have some money coming in so they can get a job, right?
Right.
Other than they can do, establish a checking account. Talk to my man, over here, and get counsel on how credit works and how to make it work for themselves. Because I find in our communities, we start getting credit, but we go to Macy's and Saks, and places like that, and blow our credit limit up, and a couple years down the line, we can't pay it back. So, those are just a couple tidbits that I have. Get some revenue coming in, get a place where you have transaction history, checking account, something like that, where a bank, when you start establishing a relationship with a financial institution, and then more importantly, learn how credit works.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just to add to that, on top of what these guys have already said, another really good tool that I think a lot of people don't know about is using secured credit cards when you're kind of starting out. You can go to the bank. I mean, it can really be any bank or any large financial institution, and you can ask them about secured credit cards where you put up a little bit of your money as kind of like collateral for the balance. And I like to say it's kind of like a credit card with training wheels, because your money is there to secure the balance. So you're not gonna, run it up. They have your money, they're holding it. And if you do well with that over time, then they will unsecure the funds and give it back to you, and so then you'll have a normal credit card. So it teaches you kind of how to go about getting that credit card while establishing a little bit of credit as well, and then you can ask for a limit increase and start doing things that way. So
yeah, another tool that I would recommend is something like Self-Lender, where you literally lend yourself money, you lock it up for a certain amount of time, it reports as credit, and by the end of that term, you get your money back.
That's awesome. Those are awesome tools. I didn't even know about this Self-Lender. You said it's called Self-Lender?
Yes, ma'am. And now watch this. Now that we're talking about it, you're going to log on to your social media and you're going to start seeing ads from them.
Isn't that creepy? I think that's always weird. Always makes me uncomfortable, but it is what it is. But awesome. Okay. Very, very good. Okay. So great. Let's go on to our next question. How do you create a budget, or what are your tips for creating a budget?
Okay. I can kind of piggyback on, basically how you create a budget. So let's say, for instance, let's say you like something that you like to do a lot. Maybe you like, to buy tennis shoes, or maybe you like to buy expensive, clothes and things like that. So what you do is, if you have a habit of doing something, what you want to do is kind of just, create a budget for yourself. What I was taught, as I was growing up, if you make $100, you don't have to spend $100. So, so basically you can kind of give them a tip on. So you're a shoe fanatic. You kind of want to just, how much these shoes cost, and you want to do it like times 12 months. So they'll know how much they really spending on, tennis shoes, which is a liability. A lot of people understand. A lot of things that you purchase that don't bring money back into, your pockets is considered a liability. So, especially at a young age, they want to learn about these things, because once they got in the real world, I mean, these people let you just buy, and then they'll let you have so much debt, and they're not going to tell you, because they expect you to learn this on your own. So, I think having to go ahead and having a budget tool in place, at an early age would definitely help them, set the bargain.
Right.
So to piggyback over what he said, man, it's amazing what happens when you start actually looking at what's going in and out, and you realizing like, man, I'm bringing in 1,000, but I'm spending 500 on shoes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's amazing. But one thing that I also always say, especially with young adults coming out of high school, I start getting them to look, you 18. When do you want to retire? Like, let's start putting together some long-term goals. Let's start working towards something bigger, and then we start breaking down the little things, and I always teach them, you're in a position now where you won't have any bills and no responsibilities. Make it a habit to pay yourself first before you pay anybody else. What I mean by that, for those that believe, tithe first, right? The first 10% goes to the Lord.
Right.
But after that, before you pay anybody else, put that money up. You work hard for it. There's no reason why it should go straight out. Save some of it, and especially with them being in a position where they don't have any responsibilities, make it a habit where you put 30% up, at least 20 to 30% of it up, so that we can invest, save, and then, have an emergency fund or something. You know what I mean? Right. And then, maybe the other 20% you can buy your Jordans out of, and then the other 50, you live off of that.
Yeah. Just honestly, just to echo a lot of what they're saying, I think it really comes down a lot to, there's not a one size or one thing fits all when it comes to budgeting. I think you have to really analyze what it is, how you spend money, what you enjoy to do, and kind of start there. Because, some people, they might not like to cook, so they want to eat out a lot. Well, then you might need to have a bigger food budget than somebody else, So I think it just kind of depends specifically on how you go about spending your money, and knowing where your money goes is what he was saying in terms of habits. I think especially while you're young, that's the most important thing. A lot of kids, I feel like, want to know about how they should budget their money, but I think that what's more important is really just developing good money habits while you're young, because budgeting is going to get more key as you have more income and more expenses coming in. But if you have good habits and develop those while you're younger, you don't have a ton of expenses, you also don't have a ton of income, it's going to make it a lot easier to start budgeting. And as keep track of the things, the way you're spending your money, how you're spending your money, where it's going. Even if you just do that kind of like once a month, I tell people, like, go back through your bank statements and just kind of see what you spent the majority of your money on, and just, categorize and start saying, okay, hey, I didn't need to spend this much on this. I could cut back here. I could cut back here. I could cut back there. So, and as kids, most of the time, all they're spending money on is like clothes and food. So it's pretty easy to cut back on those things. Right.
Absolutely. All right, that was good stuff. Okay. All right. So, they had a question about, a lot of them are kind of like, right tipping on the edge, 17, 18-year-old, and they're trying to move out and all these other type of things and figure out what that looks like. What is better for them, a house or an apartment, and why?
Okay. Just being honest with you, both of them, a house or either an apartment, they both liabilities. If you look at it at the end of the day, because you spend it. When you spend money on a house, you like I told you about, how the money come in and going out. So that's a liability. Apartment is a liability. So it don't matter which one they decide to get. But I think about when it comes to a house, I think most people don't understand, like, they'd rather have an apartment, than a house. And, I understand that, but sometimes not everybody ready for, home ownership. So I advise them to, if you really want to understand, if you're ready to pay mortgage, start off in an apartment, because there's nothing wrong with, apartment and things like that. I think they kind of teach you the responsibilities of, once you get a home, you'll be able to know the responsibilities of paying, the bills in the household and things like that. So, but to answer your question, I hope that, the answer is it.
That was awesome. That's awesome. That's good.
So to piggyback off of what he said, I'm in the marketing world, so there's a thing called programming. Mm-hmm. And we have been programmed that life goals is to go to school and get this job and get this grand house. When I sit down with my accountant, he tells me that my mortgage payment is not an asset, it's a liability. Asset is something that puts money in your pocket. Liability takes it out. I understand we all want to buy a house, and because that's an emotional thing that we want, right? We feel like we made it when we get there. But if you break down the numbers, it's all about where you are in your life, right? If you're young, you don't know if you want to stay in Alabama or wherever you are. It's a lot easier to break a lease than it is to sell a house and get out of a mortgage. Plus, once you get into a house, everything falls on you. All the repairs, taxes, all the expenses fall on you. So you got to consider that. Whereas in an apartment, you can call your landlord and say, hey, bro, come fix this. And right now, you know what I mean? You can't do that in a house. I've got clients that moved into a house a year later. They got $10,000, $15,000 worth of repairs that's like killing them because their basement flooded, or they had just an issue that they couldn't predict. So those are a lot of, and now they're not in the city where their house is, and it's hard for them to sell their house. You see what I'm saying? So those are the things that you want to consider, and then if you break down, I'm big on words. Always analyze what words mean. That the word MORT means death. So the word mortgage literally means that you're signing up to die. I don't know if people know that. If you look up the definition of mortgage, it means that you're taking a pledge to die. And if you break down the numbers, and I hate I'm a little long-winded because this is something that I talk about consistently. The first 15 or 20 years of your mortgage, you're paying nothing but interest. You're lining the bank's pockets. So before you get into a mortgage, go talk to somebody that knows how to help you pay that off faster and pay less in interest. You see what I'm saying? Most of us get into a house and we don't understand that, because we can buy a $200,000 car and pay it off in 7 years, and then we can get into a $200,000 mortgage and it takes us 30 years to pay it off. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both of them said it very well. I think for specifically your students and your audience, I definitely think that they should really only be looking at apartments at this point. I'm big in when it comes to real estate. I invest in real estate, and so I do think a home can be a very good option, but only when you have a very good financial base and foundation, and you know what you're kind of getting into. And I feel like when you're 17, 18, there's not a lot of people who have that kind of foundation. So I definitely think that getting an apartment, and even outside of just getting an apartment, don't be ashamed to still live at home with mom and dad. I feel like while you're young, it's very important. Housing 9 times out of 10 is people's largest expense. So if you can minimize or eliminate that expense altogether, don't let your pride get in the way of putting you a few steps ahead later on in life. If you need to stay at mom and dad's for a little bit longer until you kind of are able to get your own apartment or even home, you might be able to just jumpstart the whole apartment thing because you saved up and learned enough to go ahead and buy a home right after leaving your parents' house. So, and I also think living with roommates, sharing that housing expense, especially while you're young, will help you save a lot of money. A lot of people are like, oh, I want a nice, 1 bedroom. I want to live by myself, etc. While you're young, there's not really much reason you need to or have to live by yourself. Like I said, I think a lot of people are try to keep up a certain image, or they want to feel a certain way about what they have. Right. But if you kind of put that pride aside, I think you can really, take some steps forward, jumpstart some steps, for your financial future.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So basically, so like my boy said, don't try to impress those people that don't have anything. Set yourself up financially, get that bag first, and then go get what you want. Once you have leverage, don't go get in debt right away and go get a mortgage or even rent. If you can stay at home with mom and dad, milk it until you can, stack up. And but more importantly, learn how to make your money work for you while you're young. Then go out and get what you want when it's nothing.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, definitely like he was saying, both of them saying just stack it up while you can, because I think a lot of people, they live, even adults to today, as I see it, I think a lot of people live their life off other people's opinions and decisions. I think a lot of people allow people to make decisions for themselves. Like, oh, I got me an apartment, so I'm doing better than you. So that's taunting that person and go out and jump out here and don't even understand what it is to pay a bill. So they just want to say, oh, I got an apartment, but not knowing that that's still a liability that you paying on you. But they don't understand that because they young and they just seeing their friends doing it, so they want to jump out here and do it. Because a lot of people had to jump out on their own early, especially like some of our parents, they had to jump out and survive on their own and learn the real world. But I think as us as advocates, we can we got a voice to speak to them and to let them understand that don't allow opinions and people's decisions to basically teach you how to pay your own bills, or telling you what decision you should make. Because when you allow those decisions to control you, then that's how the perception of your lifestyle will be, how it will dictate, your posture and everything.
Right. That's good. Y'all dropping gems. Dropping all the gems. Preach to the children. Preach to them. Okay. Sorry. Got a little carried away. All right, here we go. Or the question we had was about tips for a savings plan. And we kind of touched on this with budgeting, but I guess they wanted to know in more detail, like how you would break that down or what savings might look like.
Yeah, I'll start on this one. I think, especially while you're young, savings is extremely important, developing that good habit. Like I said, I feel like you don't have a lot of expenses when you're young. So I tell people, if you're in high school or just about to get into college, I challenge them to try to save up to at least 30% of their income. Because 9 times out of 10, all of your money is just being spent on kind of frivolous things. You don't have a lot of, you don't have a lot of bills and things like that typically where your money has to go. So I think if you can start to learn how to live on less than your salary, less than the income that you're bringing in on a consistent basis, it sets you up to always have a good nest egg of money on the side, for when you do want to do those bigger things like go and buy that home, that car, or start investing, whatever it may be. So I think especially for like 17, 18-year-olds, try to save at least like 30%. I think as you kind of get older and those bills start to come in a little more and your income starts to change, you might have to scale it back a little bit. But I challenge kids as while you're young, try to save as much as you possibly can.
That's awesome.
And I'm with him, at least 30%. More importantly, don't just save to save. Because $100 today is not going to be $100 tomorrow. It's something, learn what inflation is. So the cost of living increases every year. Them Jordans that y'all buying right now used to be $100. Now they $200 and $300. That's what you call inflation. So if you want to be able to keep up with that, you need to make your money work for you. Save it and put it in a place where your money is going to make money. Keep a little bit stashed away for emergencies. Your car might break down. You might have to help with something at the house. But like he said, at least 30% and at least 10% of that should be invested in a place where your money is making money. Make your money work for you. Your money should be your slave. It should be working harder than you. Put it in a place where while you sleeping, your Cash App and your register is dinging. And that's my 2 cents.
That's good.
I definitely got to give it back to y'all too. Like y'all said, your saving is, very important. But like how I look at saving, it's a mindset thing. So you got to kind of tell yourself, like, if I spend on this want, then do I really need it? So some people, they have wants and needs, and they say, well, do I want this or do I need this? And I know most people get wants and needs mixed up. They're like, well, I want this, or I want the new PS5, I want these new Jordans, but do you really need them? Like, if you kind of just take a step back and just, just think in your mind, say, do you really need them? Or you just, basically, because a lot of people get things based off what's trending. They don't really get it because they need it. They want it because everybody else has it, and me, I always, growing up, being young, growing up and, learning from myself, I had to learn the difference between the wants and needs, because it's a lot of needs out here, but do I really want them? So because as you learn and as you grow and progress, when you got a savings plan in place, you want to kind of have the mindset of, oh, I know I made this, but let me put this away. And just, just tell myself, let's see how long can I survive off this, these $100 or $50. I know a lot of people, they get paid their whole full paycheck. They just blow it. Sometimes you gotta have that mindset of, once I pay myself $100. Now, how long can I make this $100 last? So, it's just a mindset thing when you think about it. And you just got to really tell yourself, do I really need this or do I really want this? So you got to learn the difference between wants and needs, and then you'll be able to know how you want to save money.
I think.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. My bad.
Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, just something quick. I think, he said something that's very important. It definitely is a mindset thing. And so what another kind of like tip you can do is when you do get that job, have separate bank accounts, have a separate account strictly for your savings, because you can set up 2 direct deposits. And so at every job that I've ever worked, I always split the direct deposits. You know, you put one to go into your savings at a certain percentage or a certain amount of what you know your paycheck is going to be. And so then you don't even see it. It's going into a whole separate account. And you can even make that account with a whole different bank so that the money is really split up. So it's harder for you to just get access to it as quickly as your other account, your main checking account. So I think that's something that helps a lot, especially while you're young. If you have that automated to where all you see is the 70% or whatever it may be of your check, and the rest is automatically being saved for you, it makes it a little easier mentally.
Right.
Perfect.
That's really good.
So what I was going to touch on is just like, you know, both of you said, the world is catered to put stuff in front of you to cater to your emotions. You got to be strong, and you got to surround yourself with people that got what you want. You know, your homeboys and your homegirls are where you are. You need to be talking to people that are 20 and 30 years ahead of you, that can mentor you and coach you through everything. If you play sports, you got a coach. You know, if you go to the gym, you have a coach. You know, you need a financial coach as well. It's most of us in our households, we weren't brought up that way. The other people might have, but we got to start breaking that. When you get your money, go to somebody that can help you make that money work for you and help you do the right thing. Because I guarantee you, if you do, you'll be further ahead 5 years down the line when you turn 25 and your car insurance go down than your homeboys and your homegirls. I can guarantee you that. Pay the price today so you can pay whatever price tomorrow. Trust me on that when I tell you this. If you start investing in yourself today, by the time you're 50, you won't have a care in the world.
That is good. Oh my goodness. Where was this when I was a kid? I don't understand. Where was this? I don't know. Anyway, so here we go. Last question and the last little thing, I guess, to close this up. And again, you guys, I appreciate you guys so much for sharing your wisdom with us and for speaking on this topic. I'm learning stuff, so I know this is going to be good. Forever watches it, so I'm super excited about that. But anyway, the last question is, what general advice do you have for someone fresh out of high school, or in high school as it relates to finances? Like just a general, maybe a question that we didn't ask, something like that, general information that you want to give them or something you feel like they need to leave here with.
I'll start. I think one of the best things you can do when you're graduating high school is really to just get as many skills as you possibly can. And, you know, similar to what he was saying earlier, investing in yourself. I think a lot of people, especially a lot of kids, become fixated on, I need to make money like right now. I need to do these things right now. But what's most important is really becoming valuable and creating, you know, valuable skills or learning how to obtain valuable assets. You know, those types of things, people don't put enough emphasis on that. When you're young, you have a lot of extra time. So I think, you know, finding people to, like you were saying, kind of mentor you, finding coaches, finding people who are doing things that you might be interested in, taking internships, whether they're paid or unpaid somewhere. You know, don't be so focused on the money aspect of things. Focus on really getting as much knowledge and valuable experiences that you possibly can to learn what it is that you might want to do, and that could propel you, you know, later on as you continue on down the road in life.
That's awesome. Really good. Really good.
Yeah, so to piggyback over what he said, you know, the need, you know, in order for you to be valuable, just like he said, you got to focus on three things. You know, what it is that you do, how hard it is to replace you, and how much need there is in the marketplace. I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of you are gonna go to college for a degree that's gonna be useless. And that's just real. Before you sign that dotted line, make sure that you can monetize and, you know, and use that degree when you get out of college. You know, if you don't go to college, make sure you are investing yourself in a way where you're valuable in the marketplace. You know, learn, you know, something that's gonna be, you know, out and about for forever. I mean, I'm on the board of a company called Cloud Tech Academy, where you take a course and right out of, you know, as long as you're 18 and up, you take this course, 6 weeks later, we start shopping you around for, you know, $60,000 to $70,000 jobs, you know, in the tech industry. You know, that's just one thing, you know, because we understand college isn't for everyone. But for those that do want to go to college, understand that college is not the end all be all. You know, just because you got the degree doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. So your life really starts once you get that degree and you start, you know, applying yourself into the marketplace. So make sure you, like you said, make sure you are valuable. You know, start, you know, if you got a hustle right now and you got a skill, you don't have to wait till college to monetize it. You know, start monetizing it now, putting some extra income in your pocket.
That's really good.
Like you said, like I got to piggyback on what you said. Like, you know, you got to monetize. Going to college is not the only option. Like for sake, I went to college, and you know, I didn't complete college. You know, did I want to complete college? Yes, but you know, when I realized that, you know, me going to college and, you know, be able to pursue my field, that I will be in debt, and I will still probably be paying on debt, you know, while I'm still in my career field, you know, because a lot of people don't understand that, you know, when you're going to college, I mean, yeah, it's a good thing to do, yeah, but once you understand how much debt, you know, you in, once you get out of college, then you're gonna be like, so basically I'm going to college to be in debt, to work for, you know, a job to basically pay off my debt. And some jobs don't even, you know, fulfill the degree that you go to college for. You know, some people go to college for, you know, let's say probably like physical therapy or something. Most states, you know, and most areas don't have, you know, some people career field, you know, some people go for like criminal justice, and then, you know, they want to do a law enforcement, you know, so some people just don't understand, you know, their lifelong journey, so they have to basically use the college where you find yourself. You know, you're gonna be a few bumps in the road because it's just like how life is. You know, it's no such thing as a perfect life. You know, you just, you know, I'd rather you know what is going on instead of just what to expect. You know, so it's best to, you know, learn about what's going to happen. You know, and you know, instead of you expect, you know, go to college and have a degree and then have this nice, you know, nice career, and you got, you know, because a lot of people, they paint the vision and what they call is the American dream. You know, go to college and, you know, you get this degree and you go get this nice house, get the car, you got the family, and they paint this vision. A lot of people go to college and then it's a whole big turnaround because it don't look like how they paint the picture. And I think some people just gotta basically, you know, just find themselves, because a lot of people don't understand when you go into college, you might have a gift that you don't even know that you have, but you'll never, you know, figure out your full-fledged gift until you really just take a step back and see what aspects do you want to pursue in life. You know, you can't let nobody make the decision, you know, based upon, because if they want to go to college, you don't want to go to college, don't make, you know, them no more smarter than you. It's just, you just probably, you know, saw a different route for yourself. You know, God have, you know, different, you know, aspects for everybody. Not everybody's supposed to go to college. You know, I feel like everybody don't have to go to college in order to be successful. You know, my teacher told me this before. He said, you don't have to go to college to be successful. And, you know, and that kind of stuck with me because it does make sense, because, you know, being entrepreneurs, you really learn how to really, you know, face the real world, the reality of what's really going on. Because like I tell people, inside of a 9 to 5, like the gift that you have, that 9 to 5 is covering up the gift that you have for the world, but you can't be an advocate because you basically allowing somebody to control your time and your energy. So just a big piggyback on what y'all was saying. So, you know, everything that we said tonight is just hopefully everybody can, you know, take some key points out of it and, you know, use these aspects and, you know, prolong in their, you know, in their future life.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Okay, you guys, unfortunately, that's our time. But again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to really quickly, like, say your names and your handles again, for everyone, just so they can know where to find you, or if they want to follow anything that you're doing or anything like that. I suggest that you follow each of these young men. They're awesome. They're doing great things in our communities, and they have gyms all the time. Like, just follow them and you'll end up with a gym, whatever it is, whether it be a post or whatever the case. They end up dropping, especially if you follow like their Instagram pages and their Facebook posts. Awesome young men. They have great things to share with you. And I'm sure they wouldn't mind reaching out to them or anything like that if you guys have questions or anything as well. So would you guys mind sharing your handles with the people?
Well, you can find me on Facebook at CHRITERIOUS, Keon CRUM. My first name is CHRITERIOUS, my middle name is Keon, but you can find me on Facebook at CHRITERIOUS Keon CRUM. Instagram is at CHRITERIOUS CRUM, and then you can also follow me on Twitter, at CHRITERIOUS CRUM. So I just always use my first name and my last name because that's what I'm building on my last name. So I just want to be an advocate of not about the money. It's about building the last name and making building that generational wealth.
Yeah, and same here. Gilberto Herrera. You can follow me on all social media at Gilberto Herrera. You can also shoot me a text, 205-654-1744. Again, that's 205-654-1744. You'll get a link to add yourself to my contacts. And that way we can be a little more personal. And you never know, I might have a raffle for you for those that text me. You never know. I got a couple shoe plugs as I'm into Jordans myself. So you never know. I might raffle off a pair of OVOs or some Off-Whites or something. So shoot me a text and follow me on Instagram. The handle should be somewhere in the description.
Brian Hatcher, you guys can follow me at Hatch Capital, HATCH_capital. That's on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And just come interact, and I love to help you guys. You can email me, feel free. I'm always there. We also have a lot of workshops and things that we do, as well as some educational courses on some of the topics that we talked about today. So definitely tap in.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. Thank you again so very much. I appreciate this, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for watching this episode of Postscript. We hope that you were able to get some tools that will help you to navigate and create a strong foundation for your financial future. Until next time, it's Shekinah Lee with Purpose, Joy, and Postscript. Bye.